Jason Isbell, welcome back to the Daily Show, now known as the Daily Social Distancing Show. How are you, sir?
I'm good. All things considering, we're healthy and relatively sane. Thanks for having me.
Coronavirus has affected everybody's lives in varying ways. Now for people like you said, you're healthy, you've got your family, and you're making do. But there's no denying that the music industry is going to be one of the hottest hits after this virus. I mean, whether there's or not, it's still going to take a long time before people can be in groups again. It's going to be a while before we see large gatherings. Tell me about the music industry and what's happening right now as a musician, as somebody who's, music pays so many people's salaries, whether it's people who work at the venues on the road. What are you seeing from the music industry right now?
Nobody knows what's going to happen, and we all, I think, have come to a consensus that it's going to be bad. And for me, like when I'm in the bubble of my home with my family, I can still create. That's something that, as long as I have my life, I can still find a way to make music. So that I don't think that's dispensable in any way. But as far as making a living making music, it's going to be a lot harder for people who were, living show to show or paycheck to paycheck, and it's already changed with the fact that we don't sell as many copies of albums as we used to. And so we've had to shift our thinking a little bit. I feel very lucky because I'd gotten to a point where I had a bit of a safety net. That's not going to hold up forever. But had it been 10 years ago when I was still riding around in a van playing for a couple hundred people a night, I would have to start rethinking career choices and making some hard decisions. It's tough. It's tough because it is dispensable. You can't eat a rock and roll record. You can, and I probably tried at some point, but it's not gonna help you. So it's tough for us. But the thing that I try to focus on is I can still make music, and the original reason I started making music was not to make a living. So whatever happens, I'm going to be able to help myself be in the world by making music, and I rely on that right now more than I have since I was 15 years old and locked in my bedroom with nowhere to go.
Tell me a little bit about some of the music you're creating right now. Are you one of those artists who creates, like, is coronavirus inspiring everything you create, or are you using coronavirus to write about everything else you've experienced in life? Because I feel like everyone is choosing one of the two. Some people are thinking about isolation only, and then other artists are going, no, I think about everything that's not coronavirus, and that's what I'm making music with.
Well, I got lucky because I have made a career out of writing lonely folk songs, basically. And so now it's perfect. I just keep doing what I'm doing. I already was writing about sitting alone in my room and not being able to touch anyone. So it slides right in there for me. But to tell you the truth, I sit with headphones on and I play the electric guitar for about 5 hours a day when I get the opportunity to do that. And it's just like I did when I was 12 or 13. And
wow.
So I feel like my musicianship is getting better, and I'm still writing. I take notes all the time. Right. It's not really been. I'm somebody who needs a little bit of time, and that sort of I need the moment of tranquility. I think that's a Wordsworth thing, but I needed that time after something serious happens in my life. I need to reflect on it a while before it comes back out as a song. So I think a year from now, I might start writing about this particular time. For now, I'm just trying to get through it and, not snap at everybody.
Well, luckily, your fans don't have to wait a year to hear new music because you've got a new album that is coming out. It's called Reunions. Tell me a little bit about it.
I went through this period after I got sober a little over 8 years ago where the person that I used to be, I looked back on him with a lot of judgment and a lot of disdain. And it took me a good 6.5 or 7 years before I felt like I could be friends with that guy again, before I felt like that was safe, because I didn't want to forgive myself too quickly for fear of turning back into the person that I used to be. Finally, in the last couple of years, for whatever reason, I felt comfortable looking back at the music that I made then and the relationships that I made then and the person that I was then, and revisiting that, going and sitting down and sort of having a conversation with that person and not just hating his guts anymore, because it was safer to do that. So once
Right.
I started thinking of those things and those people, then a lot of memories came back, and sometimes in the form of ghosts. And they came back to me in a way that I'm more equipped now to write about than I was 10 years ago when I was a falling down drunk and only had a couple of hours a day when I could be productive. Now I can use the writing skills and the focus that I have to make music that guy wanted to make 10 years ago but wasn't capable of.
Damn, that's that adds context to the album in a whole different way. I know you've always written from a place that is way deeper than surface level, and I think I appreciate how much thought you put into the music and the subjects that you sing about. I know that you're in Tennessee right now. As far as I know, is reopening or has reopened, or some of it is reopened, which is interesting because Tennessee was also like one of the last states to close. So are you eagerly getting back out there? I would love to know from someone who's in Tennessee if you're like jumping back out, if you're seeing people back out in the streets, or is it a hesitant approach to getting back to normal life?
Okay, I have a theory about a lot of the folks that are going out and just jumping right back into their normal life or whatever version of it is available to them right now. I think a lot of people in America and everywhere, a lot of people that I grew up with, a lot of people that I still know, they see the same things pretty much every day. They go to the same jobs, they see the same people, and some people love that, some people hate it. For me, it was never really an option. I couldn't stand that idea. So I spent my life traveling and trying to experience as many new things as possible. So when I see something that I've never seen before, I recognize it as something that I've never seen before. And I try to act accordingly. If that's extra dangerous, then I think, okay, I've not seen this. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And if it's exciting or exhilarating, then I think I need to enjoy this to the fullest because I've never seen it before and I might not see it again.
Right.
I think a lot of folks make the mistake of thinking that they have seen this before because they don't have a lot of experience with something they have never seen before. They're not in practice, of experiencing new things. And that scares me. I'm not going out, man. If I have to go do something, I'll go do it. But I would rather, be thoughtful to the people that I care about. I lost a friend of our family, John Prine. He passed away a couple of weeks ago from COVID-19, and that broke our hearts. We were very close to John and to his wife Fiona and to their family, and if he's the only person that this virus took, that would have been enough for me to in the house for as long as I needed to stay in the house. If it was just John, but everybody knows somebody, and if you don't, you will. So for me, it's not worth it to go out there and risk it.
Man, I could talk to you forever, but I know you got to get back to life. I wanted to say thank you again for taking the time today.